Okay, let's go over the match function. So we're looking at the holdings page right here, and what you're going to need to do, here's the list of redemptions that you've already highlighted and put in column H. And it goes all the way down to H67. So keep that in mind. So what you're going to do, first thing is you've got to move this chart here. Just move it over because the search function, or I'm sorry, the match function is in column G. And so you can see you need it to start matching with column A4. That's why you have to move this chart out of the way so you can actually um, use the function and then drag it down so that it tries to match up everything to the end. So if you look at this function formula, you have to enter it exactly as it is with a couple of adjustments. And those adjustments come in with, you have to match up all of the entries in column A, which starts with A4, right? A4 is already in there. It's in there twice. A4 here, and then A4 here. Where you have to adjust it is column H. So our entries start with 17, and they end with H67. So that's where H comes into play. So you have to change that to H17 and H67. So that encompasses this redemption list in total from H17 to H67. So then you match it up with A4 to the end and just drag it down, and it's going to match everything up, hopefully. Okay, so you can see where I dragged it down, it's matching them up. See, 14021116, 14021116. So that would be targeted for elimination. And so just to make sure that you've got the correct amount, and there's the one that we just had mentioned, you can count. Okay, so if it's 17 to 67, that's 51 entries, right? That's 51 redemptions. So there should be 51 in column G. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, and 1. And that's it. So we have the right amount. You have to trust the match function worked correctly. I'm certain that it did. And then you just go through and you highlight those, and you can just delete the whole row. Highlight and delete. Highlight and delete. Highlight and delete. So up here you got to be careful, right? So you can't delete part of your red redemption list, or else those numbers are going to disappear. You can't just go here and delete, because it's also going to delete these red redemptions, and it's going to change this over here in column G. So you can do everything up to the red redemptions, but once you get here you have to erase them like this. Just highlight that, hit the little delete button, highlight all these, hit the delete button, and then what you have to do is you have to do some copying, or I'm sorry, cut and paste to tighten up the list. Whoops, didn't do that right. I'm going to cut and paste the whole row. So you have to cut and paste a few times to get it to line up again. You can see this number matches up with this, so you definitely want to get rid of it, but you can't get rid of any red, so you have to do a little delete there, and on and on. And then you just go through here and you have to tighten up the list a little bit to make it nice and neat. Just move these up. And then we'll move all these up. And now we didn't do these. I'm not going to do these. You get the idea. So the list, you just make it nice and tidy. And then after you're done erasing all of these certificates that are redeemed, then you add the new list to the bottom. Right? Just hit a little insert all of your new list here. And hey, it's here, Mike here. I just wanted to help you make those corrections, things that popped out to me when you returned the spreadsheet to me. So let's look at this first of all. Starting with the redemption section. One thing that's going to help you is to sort the TDA numbers in order, and that's going to help you see what's been paid in that month. Okay, so first thing is to highlight all of those, hit sort, boom, there you go. Okay, so now you can see everything in order, everything that's been paid on specific TDA numbers. Alright, so that helps you. You don't have to dig around and see if 600 has been paid on one and look for the other part of it, because the clerk sometimes pays separately, or always pays separately than the tax collector, and sometimes the clerk will send out two different parts of the same TDA, so it can get confusing, so you need to see where the money's coming from. Hope that makes sense. So one thing that popped out at me, okay, let's take this one for instance, 1876. D16001876. The thing that popped out at me was that the interest was excessively high, as it was on 1875, 76, 1890. So just from experience, I knew that couldn't be possible, just because when these TDAs were purchased, there's just not enough time for the interest to build up that high. So more than likely what was done was that you didn't include $600 of basis into the calculations, which is, as you know, that's the clerk of court fee. But let's go through the calculation just to double check and see where we went wrong. Alright, so if we look at 1875, for instance, first thing we do, okay, we got to get the master certificate number. 1875, so the master cert number is that. So let's copy it. So we go to the snapshot page and we search it. Alright, so now we have it. Is there any other certs that match up with it? No. That's the only cert with that strap number, right? Here's the strap number. There's nothing else that's exactly like it right around it. So that's the only strap. So we use only that number, $121.21. Just keep that one in mind, 121.21. So now we come back. We have to go over to the TDA page, calculate the rest of the cost basis for 1875. So let's look up 1875. There it is. We have to add up all the certs that are tied to that TDA, plus we have to include the master cert calculation too, right? 121.21. So let's calculate this. Remember, when you're calculating the certs that are tied to them, it's the ones that are above, right? The ones that are above the TDA number, which is all of these. Okay, so let's add those up. Okay, we're doing 1875. Okay, so the number didn't show up in this box because of the color. Okay, so we have to add 1083.58 plus 600 for the clerk's fee, right? Plus, don't forget the 121.21 for the master cert. Okay, so that total is 1804.79. So let's go back to the redemption page. That's our cost basis, 1804.79, and that would make the interest part $12.31. That makes a lot more sense. That's the correct way to do it. So I'm assuming that you just forgot to include the clerk's fee in these, which would make sense, but I encourage you to go through that calculation just to be sure. And then, as you can see below here, this is also tied. This is just pure interest. So that's the kind of format that I'm looking for. That tells you that one part is pure interest, the other part is a lot of basis. Now sometimes they will be split up. I'm trying to find one that's split up. This looks like this one. $600, the clerk reported that's their fee separate than the master cert and certs. So there will be little differences in the way that they report it to us, and you just have to be aware of how that's done. So I hope this all makes sense. No need to go back and do this because I already did that part and reported it to the clients, but in the future that's how we want to do it. Okay, so just be careful when you calculate the basis for the TDAs. All right, thanks so much.